is here as well. And I can see the minister secretary coming in. As they take their positions, we are going to have the national anthem. Can you please take our position? The governor is ready. Thank you. We are taking the national anthem, please. Thank you. ICT national anthem. Okay. Please settle down. The governor is seated. Your Excellencies, the governor and deputy governor of Kano State, may I respectfully welcome all of you to the 28th meeting of the National Council on Works holding here in the city of Kano, the center of commerce. The title of this meeting is Infrastructure, the Season of Completion. Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Kano State, Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, OFR, Kalimul Islam. Please join me to say thank you for hosting us. A round of applause for him. Your Excellency, support is His Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Kano State as well, Dr. Nasiru Yusuf Gawuna. Please a round of applause to welcome him. Your Excellency, we're extremely grateful to you. Also already seated in the House is the Chairman, Senate Committee on Works. I'm sure being represented here. Okay, maybe the House Committee Chairman on Works. Okay. And of course, we've got the result-oriented Minister for Works and Housing, our own Excellency Babatu, and of course he's supporting fellow Minister of State, a son of the soil from Kano State, Honorable Umar Ibrahim El Yacob. Sir, you're welcome. A round of applause for him. And of course, we've got our own transformative permanent secretary from the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing, also another son of Kano State, Bashir Nura Al-Kali. Please welcome him as well. And also Your Excellency, Sir, and the State, who has spent all Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and even today sitting with us, Engineer Idris Badasani. A round of applause for him. And other commissioners here present, you are going to have your self-introduction with the permission of His Excellency. Also, we've got Senator Barau Jibril, who is representing Kano Central Senatorial District. I have Kano North Senatorial District, they gave me Kano Central. So sorry about that, sir. So sorry, you're welcome. And of course, we've got the Secretary to Kano State Government, Alhaji Usman Alhaji Wazira Kaya. Is he here? Not yet here, okay. And of course, also seated with us, is the Chief of Staff and Head of Service to Kano State, Alhaji Usman Bala, not yet here, thank you. And also seated on the top table, we've got the Surveyor General of the Federation, Surveyor Abdulganiyu Adeyemi Adeyemi, welcome. And also sitting on the top table, I can see the MD of FEMA, Engineer Nuruddin Rafindari. A round of applause for him. And also, I can see another dignitary on the high table. I'm sure he's the chairman of Policy and Strategy Implementation, Kano State, Alhaji Rabiu Sulaiman Bichi. A round of applause to welcome him. Your Excellency, the Executive Governor, sir, with your kind permission, may I respectfully hand over the mic to the commissioners here seated so you could meet them, sir. Your permission, sir. Thank you. May I then respectfully recognize that present with us already, Your Excellency, we've got some honorable commissioners seated here. We've got commissioners present from Edo State, from Borno State, from Kebbi State, and Zamfara State. And of course, represented here as well is commissioners from Kaduna State, Kwara State, Jigawa State, Lagos State, Adamawa State. And of course, we've got some federal controllers seated here. We've got a representative from the Corps Marshal of the Federation, ACM Jones Argo is here. We've also got state directors of works, and of course, we've got directors from the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing, Your Excellency, sir. A lot of them here seated. We've got the director and chairman we've got deputy directors, we've got aides of His Excellency, and also aides of the Minister of State, and the Permanent Secretary already seated. We've got members of the Fourth Estate and other very distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Once again, good morning and welcome to this event. On our agenda, Your Excellency, we've got health, safety, and environmental. With your permission, that will be given to us by Engineer Felix Ebusweme. Engineer Felix, please. Thank you. A round of applause as it comes to the podium.
Environment briefing. When we do this, all about emergency preparedness. Not that anybody is insinuating that anything is going to go wrong. No. But we need to be prepared. One of the problems we do have is if people do not know what to do during the emergency, that one of them that result to more injuries. But when they know exactly what to do, there will be no problem. And that is why I'm here to advise us a little bit. And also what we are saying here will also help us not just in this hall, wherever we find ourselves. So whenever you are attending any occasion anywhere, it's always very important for you to know the exits. Know the exits. To be sure that if there's anything that goes on, then you need to leave so you can leave quickly. So in this hall, we have three main exits, but one is now shut. It's not closed, but there's a table in front of it, but then it's still open. But the main entrance and the one behind. So should there be any reason for evacuation, just use the nearest one to you. Also, there's a procedure of evacuation that everyone needs to know. And the most important one is do not panic. Whatever is happening, just do not panic. But once you panic, you lose it all. And the second thing is stop whatever you are doing and do what? Evacuate. Do not run, but walk quickly. So moving at the speed of the person in front of you. And as you are moving, if whatever you are holding drop, please do not bend to pick. When you bend to pick, the person can be pushed down and be trampled upon, which will now be dangerous. And as you leave, and also you are encouraged, do not use the lift, but there's no lift in this case, because it's from the ground floor. And I want to get out, the mustering point is by the car park. The next thing we also need to know is that there's some equipment already installed for our safety. We have CCTV that is also working, that is covering everything, so in case we always know that it's good. We also have smoke detectors. So should we also have a public address system. So if there's any issue, you'll be advised on what to do, whether you have to evacuate or not. It's also functional. And for your conveniences, we have just two. If you don't follow the main entrance to my right, just behind the people, to my right, you turn left, that's for the gentlemen. And then if you go straight, the one behind us is for the ladies, for the conveniences. Also, the organizers have made provision for your medicals. So if you feel well, we have a complete medical team here. We have a medical doctor, eye doctor, we also have a pharmacist, a nurse, as well as a lab scientist with us here, and an ambulance. So should there be anything, do not feel anything. If you feel just go out from this door to your left, you see the medical team. And if you don't know your vital signs and you don't have the equipment with you to test it, it's important that you visit them to check your eye pressure, your BP, sugar level, cholesterol level. All this we can do for you here. And now finally, we also need to have emergency numbers. But over time now, the media people will scroll it. It's important for us to know that all states in Nigeria have emergency numbers. And once we call those numbers, you'll be surprised that under 5 minutes, police will be there. Please visit www.mpf.gov.ng to know which one that belongs to your state and save it on your phone. Once you need an emergency, call the number, you will be well assisted. I wish to welcome everybody on behalf of the organizers to the Center of Commerce and wish us a good and well council. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Engineer Hussein. Cameraman, please kindly spot. Cameraman, please kindly spot. Thank you. Your Excellency, with your kind permission, I want to announce that the commissioner from Anambra State is already seated in the House. We've also got the commissioner for lands and survey from Delta State, presented, also seated in the House. Your Excellency, also I have in the House the Honorable Commissioner for Information in Kano State, Comrade Mohammed Daba, and other special advisors to His Excellency, one of which is the Governor's Special Advisor on Infrastructure Development, Comrade Dauda Lawal. A round of applause to welcome all of them. May I, with great respect, now bring to the podium for his welcome remarks the Honorable Commissioner for Kano State, Ministry of Works and Infrastructure, Engineer Idris Wada Saleh, MNS. A round of applause for him. The man has been with us all Monday till today. Sir, we are grateful, we appreciate your support. Thank you.
Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Kano State, Dr. Abdullahi Umar Gandoje, the Cardinal Islam, His Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Kano State, Alhaji Nasru Gawda, Your Excellency, the Honorable Minister of Works and Housing, His Excellency, Babatunde Fashola, the Minister of State for Works and Housing, Honorable Umar Ibrahim Ali Yakub, the Chairman Senate Committee on Works, His Excellency Senator Adamu Adero, the Chairman House Committee on Works, Honorable Abubakar Kabir, the Permanent Secretary, Federal Minister of Works and Housing, Alhaji Bashir Nur Al-Ghali, the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Works and Infrastructure, Ahmed Salisu, all Federal Ministry of Works and Housing, all directors, Federal Minister of Work and Housing, and State at this place. All federal controllers of works of the Federation, all respected delegates from the 36th state of the Federation and Abuja. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I stand here before you to welcome the Honorable Minister and other distinguished guests to the great city of Kano, Center of Commerce, and to attend the 28th meeting of the National Council on Works being hosted by the Kano State Government under the able leadership of His Excellency Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje Owafia. Welcome to Kano Center of Commerce. The themes of this year's event tag infrastructure, the season of completion is quite relevant to prevailing situation as Nigeria is presently heading to yet another end of political dispensation in the year 2023. 4 years after conducting the previous national election in 2019. Accordingly, it is absolutely desirable for government at all levels to strive toward completing the ongoing infrastructure project within the remaining period of their tenure. It is in this regard that right from its inception in 2015, the present administration, under the able leadership of His Excellency, the Executive Governor, Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje Owafia, took the bull by the horn and resolved to continue execution of the inherited project to logical conclusion. The affected project include construction of Aminu Alasan Tata, which is about 1.8 kilometer flyover with 9 kilometers along Murtala Muhammad Way, the realization of Yahya Gusso, and completion of construction of Gadangaya on the first construction on Jambuza Kaya Road with 7 bridges along the road, construction of Muhammad Buhari Special Hospital Kikinyu, construction of Sheikh Isiaq Rabiu Pediatric Hospital at Zoo Road, and many others, which are all presently completed. Similarly, a number of other new projects were equally awarded and mostly completed, comprising many roads, bridges, flyovers, overpasses, and underpasses across the length and breadth of great state. Some of these projects of notable stand include construction of Tijani Hashim at the Galadima Kano, underpasses at Kofar Roa along Kathina Road, construction of Dengi Interchange along Zaria Road, construction of Muhammad Buhari Cancer Center, construction of Aliko Dangote Skill Acquisition Center, construction of road network at Gaya, Rano, and Karai Emirate Council headquarters, and construction of Muhammad Buhari Interchange along Maiduguri Road, which comprises underpasses, overpasses, and flyover, and has presently reached 95% completion. Kano State is really wearing new looks in terms of infrastructural project, and hence its team delegates are encouraged to spare time, a little of their valuable time, to pay a visit to some of these above-mentioned projects since site, which will showcase the tremendous effort by His Excellency Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje. I would like to use medium to express appreciation to the Honorable Minister for approving the hostel right of this year's meeting to Kano State, and to His Excellency the Executive Governor of Kano State for accepting to hold the event, as well as colossal support to make it a reality. Once again, welcome to our great city of Kano, the Center of Commerce. Wishing you fruitful deliberation and happy stay in Kano. Thank you, sir.
Can we give the Commissioner another better round of applause? Also, may I, with great respect, invite to the podium for his address the Chairman, House Committee on Works and Housing, Honorable Abubakar Kamil Abubakar. A round of applause for him, please. Thank
you. State commissioners, state permanent secretaries, directors, the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is my pleasure and honor this meeting taking place here in Kano. I would first like to congratulate the Governor of Kano State. I want you to thank the Minister of Works and Housing, Dr. Umar Eliaku, the Permanent Secretary and his team for organizing these events. This year's theme, infrastructure, the season of completion, is suitable and well-timed because this is indeed a season of project completion and commissioning in the light of this administration. The effort of this government to complete as many projects as possible, both inherited and the project is initiated, are highly commendable. Please allow me to use this opportunity to commend the President Muhammad Buhari for delivering on his promise to improve the road infrastructure sector in Nigeria. No previous government have funded road infrastructure like his administration. The Ministry of Works and Housing has consistently had one of the highest budgetary allocation since the inception of this administration. The President sees road infrastructure development as a tool for economic growth, poverty alleviation, food security, and security of life and property. This administration has introduced many interventions, such as the school, HDMI, and Chastity scheme to complement the Ministry of Works and Housing budget, providing funds to develop our road infrastructure. With over 1,000 contracts of road and bridges covering 13,000 kilometers, all parts of the country have felt the impact of the federal government's social development plan. As we celebrate the season of completion and commissioning, I want to appreciate the Honorable Minister of Works, Mr. Babatunde Bashoda, for his commitment to our road infrastructure. Under his watch, we have seen the completion and the commission of major roads across the country. To mention few projects such as Unguru Geshwa Bamari Road, Kano Maiduguri Road linking Kano Yola Phase 2 in Gombe State, Bendikia Obudukati Ranch in Benue and Cross River States, Sokoto Tambuwa Jega Katagora section in Sokoto and Kebbi State, Ikon Bridge in Cross River State, Nguru Geshwa Bari Road in Section 2, Inewi Utumu Uburu Road in Enugu and Ebonyi State. Furthermore, three critical projects, namely the second major bridge, the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, the Abuja-Kaduna Zaria Expressway, are financed by the Presidential Infrastructure Development Funds, PIDF, managed by the Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority, NSIA, are all due for completion before the end of this administration. These are the projects that have been abandoned for many years by previous governments.
That we keep our system going. Gradually coming to the 5 point. Respectfully invite to the podium the man making things to work, the former governor of Lagos State, His Excellency the Minister for Works and Housing, His Excellency Babatunde Fashola, SAN. A round of applause for him. Thank you.
Your Excellency, our Chief Host, my brother, Dr. Abdullahi Ganduje, the Governor of Kano State, Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor, distinguished senators, members of the National Assembly, my chairman, on behalf of my brother, the Honorable Minister of State who Works, Maru El Yakub, and the Permanent Secretary, Nora Al-Kali, and body of directors, and all of the state representatives, commissioners who are here. I'd like to start by thanking you very much for accepting to host us in this very historic city of Kano. If you want to applaud the government, the governor, and the people of Kano for hosting us, please, it might interest you to know that the governor himself used to be a member of the Council of Works. He was once a commissioner for works in Kano. But he has since, in another plenary, the plenary of the Nigerian Governors Forum, from where it is clear that he will soon exit again and move on to other things. Unlike him, this will be my valedictory Council of Works meeting. And it is because this is the valedictory that I have, in consultation with my team, somebody in the public space said that infrastructure does not create growth. So if you want to laugh, you can laugh too. But we will have that conversation at another time. But very quickly, I just want to speak in context. What did we meet? And if the person operating this can just go to the third slide of that presentation, to the third slide. And what we met in 2015 was that the infrastructure sector of Nigeria was losing jobs. People were being laid off in the construction. And I think we also met in the fourth slide, if you move forward quickly, why jobs were being lost. If you look to that first slide on your left, the economy was heading for a recession. That was in 2012. I took office for the Ministry of was 18 billion naira. And our road infrastructure tax credit, there are initiatives of the Buhari administration to tackle the problems of underfunding infrastructure that we get. Let me quickly say this. I hear and read and listen to reports that, oh, Parliament is rubber stamping the executive. The question to ask ourselves is, did we ask or did we elect Parliament to go and fight the executive? And I think all too quickly we forget that Parliament is only one arm of the same government. So figuratively, if the fingers of my hand are parts of my hand, should they be fighting one another? So, and I think that this is a notion we must quickly dispel. The whole reason, one of the reasons rather, why parties fight for a majority in Parliament is so that they can get their agenda through, not to go and fight them. House Committee on Works, and also Senator Barra, who has been a stalwart support for positive policies that we have put through. Certainly, It doesn't suggest that we don't disagree. We disagree. But we're not there to disagree and become disagreeable. That does not benefit Nigerians. We disagree, we work together so that we can come and show the kind of results that we are talking about here in a season of completion. So, I won't take much time. I think the chairman of the committee has already spoken to some of the things I wanted to speak to. And what is important, therefore, is that we were working together. So he has preempted me because it's part of the program. He knows what is going on. He has talked about the Sukuk, he has talked about the PIDF, he has talked about the tax credit. So I will quickly move it on to the 9th slide. Because what we did with those fundings, and don't forget, every time we had that budget from 2016, there were deficit budgets. What deficit budgets mean was that we did not have the resources to finance what we have committed to. Well, it was clear that 18 billion naira was not going to solve the problem. So our first budget was, I think, in the order of about 250-something billion from 80 billion. That's over 1,000% increase. But the price of oil was dropping. We did not raise taxes. So some of these monies had to be borrowed. So when you are hearing those conversations about public debt, this is where the money went. Just remember that. And every time I ask people who say don't borrow, and I'm not suggesting that we should not be concerned about borrowing, but I'm also saying who does not need service. So let us see the state here, all the statistics states are here. Is there a project in your state you want us to stop? Because we will reduce the debt by that number. Do I see a hand up? So you can see what we did in 2017, 482 kilometers of road with the Sukuk, 100 billion naira. In 2018, 642 kilometers with the Sukuk, and 757 kilometers in 2020 with the Sukuk. And we are still moving on with the 2021 Sukuk. And I'm sure that across the 36 states and the FCT, when you drive around, you will see signs of the Sukuk working in your states. So it's there to see, it's evidential, and that is the context of our season of completion. So if we go on quickly to the next slide, and this slide just speaks to what the Presidential Infrastructure Development Fund has done. It is covering 4 major projects, 3 major projects, pardon me, Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, Abuja to Kano, and the second Niger Bridge. Even though those projects are not finished and we're racing to complete them, all of those who traverse those routes now can tell the difference. The travel time significantly is reducing and it will get better. If you move on to the next one very quickly, this is the road infrastructure tax credit. So it is open, we are getting more entries, we are getting more requests, but what has been done so far is that it has relieved the pressure on the nation's largest seaport and the busiest seaport, the Apapa Ogunjoki Expressway. We are nearing completion there, and the impact is beginning to be felt in the larger economy for those who import, who transport. On the Obajana to Kaba Road in Kogi, you will see the impact over the intervention there. And for those who are from Rivers State, you will see the impact of the Bolu-Bonny road. Bonny is the island where Nigeria's end by road to that place. So when there's bad weather, sometimes for 3 days, they are locked down in that island. So for the first time in centuries, there is a road and bridge that is unlocking access to that place. It has never happened before. And this is what the tax credit is doing. Let us quickly then move to slide 12. Now, what you will see in this slide, these are the roads, the 21 roads covered by the NNPC tax credit scheme. A total of 621 billion is committed to these 21 roads that cover all the 6 zones of the country. Every zone is represented here, and it will cover a distance of 1,804 kilometers. Those of you who are from the North Central particularly will be seeing the immediate impact on the Niger State roads linking Niger to Kwara, especially for petroleum product evacuation. And you will also see that from my own state in Badagry, there is relief now, even if work is still going on. But what is instructive about this NNPC tax credit is that a substantial part of the funds come from the PTDF. Do you remember that agency? PTDF. You know what they used to do with PTDF money before? Huh? Go to your Google engine search, Google PTDF. Some names will come up, and you will see what happened to PTDF money. They used to use it for themselves, but the Buhari government is using it for Nigeria. That is the difference. When you Google PTDF and you remember this slide, you will thank the Buhari government for the choices that they have made. So, let us now go quickly to slide 15 and 16. Your Excellency, pardon me for keeping you. I know that you have a big day, but I will soon be done. So on these slides, what you have here really are, again, some of the things we've done with multilateral loans. So when they say we are taking funding, Mokwa-Bida Road, the Akure-Elisha Road, the Abuja, Kefi, Ampanga, Lafia, Makodi, about 220 kilometers of road linking the federal capital to Nasarawa is nearing completion, and I think that my chairman has already spoken to the bridge linking Nigeria and Cameroon. These are some of the things that we have done with multi-sectoral lendings, borrowings that we have undertaken, and the results are manifest for people to see. So I think we go on then to slide 18 or 16 if you mind. Let's just do 16. So 16 just speaks to also intervention. The Northeast has had some challenges from which it is recovering. If you were watching the news yesterday, my colleague, the Honorable Minister, in terms of in the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management and Social Development, presented reports of the approvals by FED of certain rule interventions in some states. These are by the Northeast Development Commission. These are some of the collaborations we have also had with them. For those of you who are from Adamawa, I believe, and those environs, the Madagala bridge that was damaged has been restored. I see my brother from Adamawa acknowledging and nodding his head. So if you want to applaud the government, please do so. Those are bridges that were damaged as a result of war. So for those who are ringing the bells of war, please hold your peace. War is not good, and the post-war effort to rebuild is always very painful and slow. But these are the results in our season of completion. Most of the things have been damaged during the war and being rebuilt and being restored. And so we will go, I think, to slide 18. And really, for me, this is the heart of the matter. So at the top there, we have on our record, and the list continues, from laying off workers in 2015, we have put 300,000 plus people to work. And if we go on to 19, now this is instructive. You know that we talked about ease of doing business. Now, some of the roles that the chairman has mentioned here, we have consciously, every time we finish those roles, we speak to the users of the roads, the drivers, the commuters, we do a survey. And this is a small summary of the survey from some of the roads we have commissioned. So in the bold part there, just across only 896 kilometers, I'm sorry the prints are a little bit small, I hope they could enlarge it. This is the heart of the matter, really. You will see that over that period, in some cases, travel time has dropped by as much as 75% in some cases. So, in some cases 35%, in some cases 60%. But the average, when you take the mean across those periods, we have reduced travel time by 56.20%. That is a lot of saving from time spent on the road. That is time that can be deployed for other productive activity. And this is where infrastructure creates efficiency, creates choice, and creates prosperity, contrary to what that fellow said, that infrastructure does not lead to growth. But that is not the end of the story. There is also the other side. Not only is travel time reduced, travel cost has dropped by close to 56.25%. So when this government committed to raising people out of poverty, it does not necessarily mean that it will employ everybody. It does not necessarily mean that the social intervention funds will reach everybody. It is a swathe of interventions. And so if government begins to help you reduce how much you spend on transport and how much you spend on roads, on the road, has that government not reached you indirectly? So this is very impactful. I spoke of the microcosm of Kano. So if you go around and do this survey in Kano too, you will see results like this. From gridlock to efficient movement to productivity. And this is why we must not be in a hurry to lift our finger off the thumb of infrastructure. Not in Kano, not at the federal level, not in any of the 36 states and the federal capital. We must continue to invest in infrastructure. It includes broadband, it includes rail, it includes university buildings, hospital buildings, because that is really the way to get out of these difficult times that we face. And then, of course, people talk about the opportunities we have lost. They have gone. What we must do is that when those opportunities come again, we must be ready to seize them. And it is by doing this kind of things that we position ourselves. Let's just quickly go to 23 now, and as I say, I promise you, that is the last but one slide, and I'll be done. Now, this is interesting. We asked our contractors, to just give us a feedback. Because you see, people talk about infrastructure and they are just seeing roads and bridges. But we see more. We see livelihoods connected to it. So we asked our contractors, can you give us a list of some of the suppliers, the aggregates, the things you have bought to build that road? Because it's an economic objective. And let us just use this one contractor in 2020. So in 2020, this contractor employed 1,421 subcontractors, suppliers of diesel, suppliers of sand, suppliers of all sorts of companies in order to execute our contract. So this is approximately 1,421 families who benefited from supply contracts worth 45 billion naira. So one of the things I tell people that if you want to legitimately distribute money in an economy, commit to infrastructure. Because from the day you sign the contract, the first thing you do is, you use advance payment guarantee? I mean, who issues it? Is it for free? That's where the benefit starts to trickle until it reaches the laborer. So let us have a common pay. This is the heart of the matter. Now, we're looking at 224,000 tons of bitumen. That's 580 trucks. Do those trucks fly? How do they move? Is that not a job for somebody? Now, take your mind away from the factory where it is produced. Just to drive to work supply. Then look at the demand for the diesel that supplies that truck to move, or the petrol as the case may be. And you will see what infrastructure really does. Of course, the sand, the cement factories, 125,000 tons of cement, that's 3,700 truck trips. Reinforcement, steel, 30,000 trucks, 900 tons, 950 truck trips. Diesel, 49 million liters of diesel. Which construction company manufactures diesel? So they have to buy from somebody. So if it's Ganduje and Sons Petroleum Company, they will be supplying diesel. So, but this is an important story, and I think that all of us must own these stories in our individual economies and begin to really dramatize and explain what infrastructure really does. Let me close by just going to my last slide, which is 25, and to say that all of what has been achieved in spite of, if it's a single carriageway, that right of way already exists. The dimension of that right of way is 45.75 meters from the center of the road on both sides. Let me repeat that, 45.75 meters on an existing carriage. So where we are trying to dualize now, we are not acquiring a new right of way. We are within our right of way because each lane is 3.65 meters. If you add the outer and the inner shoulder, maybe another 4 meters. We are still within the 45 on one side and the 45 on the other side. The fact that we have not used it and people have encroached doesn't mean that it is their land. It actually is our land, and we will not pay compensation for what we own. In cases where we are applying for new right of way in the states, let us also have a common understanding rooted in law that the federal government has no dominion over land. It is a state matter by virtue of the Land Use Act, which is a constitutional provision in itself, has been embedded in the Constitution. And if you take time to read that law, you will see there that it is the acquiring authority, which is the state government, that is responsible for payment of compensation. It is our view that the local authority, which is the state, is in a better position to talk to these people, to explain to them why they must, perhaps in some cases, get compensation, in some cases, compromise compensation, so that they can benefit from these rules that we are building. The next head, and let me say that Bayelsa, Kano, FCT, Niger State, and Kaduna are examples that we must applaud because they have stepped in and take responsibility and say, yes, it's our responsibility, we will resolve it. And I love the Kano government. It always says compensation, don't worry, I will solve it. Thank you, sir. And what is instructive about that is that when everybody then accepts their rules, instead of arguing over the rules prescribed by law, the work is easier to do. And the last point there is this.
And it's not only that, the half of the commercial half of Maiduguri is also the commercial half of some part of Chad Republic, some part of northern Cameroon. So that road can be an industrialized state. We manufacture, we produce, and goods are conveyed to Chad Republic, to northern part of Cameroon, and that is the only highway that is being used for this conveyance. So you can imagine the socio-economic developments that putting life into that road has greatly increased. So we have to thank Mr. President for that. The road that was completely down, that is from Kano to Zaria, to Kaduna, to Abuja. That road work is going on. I'm happy to read the theme of this conference, that is completion of infrastructural facilities. So we know that road will be completed. But from what we see, as I said earlier yesterday, the road between Kano and Kaduna is about to be completed, almost completed. And from Kaduna to Abuja, 2023, that road also will be completed. Katsina is another commercial axis of the Niger Republic. The Niger Republic come into Kano through Daura and also through Katsina. And the road between Katsina and Kano is now going on. It was abandoned before. The road linking Sokoto, Zamfara, Kano, through a small portion of Katsina, that is Funtua. That road has been awarded and the work is going on now. Kano to Gonzo, to Dei, Funtua, and exit to Zamfara and Sokoto. We thank you for that. The road from Kano to Kazori in Jigawa State, another axis leading to Daura is on. Honorable Minister, the issue of railway, that's another issue which is so vital to the socio-economic development of this country. So Kano, we think the infrastructural facilities are mainly for us, if I can put it that way. Because railway from Lagos to Ibadan, to Kaduna, to Kano, you mentioned something. In fact, the railway that is providing will reduce the level of damage, the prevalence of damages that we have on our roads. But that one is not enough. Council will examine the issue of investment for the National Assembly to make some regulations pertaining to weighing bridges so that there will be no contention. Honorable Minister, with these few remarks, I now declare open
stand to take the national anthem and thereafter a section of photographs. Are you ready, please? Thank you. Cameraman, photographers, please stand by. Your Excellency, sir, we're just going to have the photograph right here. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Honorable Minister, sir, could you just move close a little, please? Let's close the gap. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Honorable Commissioners, please be ready. We're going to join them shortly. Please move out from your seats. Commissioners, please, representative, please move out. Boss, are you okay? Thank you. Honorable Commissioners, no, let's stay in front because it will be too long over there. Let's stay in front. Commissioners, please. Thank you. Representative of Commissioners as well, please come out. I will expect the only lady, the queen in the house, to be in the middle. Lagos State Commissioner, please. Thank you. The Lagos State Commissioner, please. Thank you. Please find a place in the middle. Thank you. Sir, could you come this way, please? This please be on there. Thank you. Thank you. Beautiful. Are we good? Thank you. Jose, are you good? Federal controllers, want to join them? Please do.